Hi fantasy managers, welcome to FPL Team Talk. In this FPL video we're going to look at some of the players that we are looking to bring in for game week 37. It's a double game week, the penultimate game of the FPL season. So if you enjoy these sort of videos, give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe, and in the meantime, let's take a look. Before we look at my transfer plans for game week 37, a quick recap on how we're doing so far for game week 36. I have still got 6 players to play on Thursday night in a fixture between Brighton and Newcastle, so I'm already on a green arrow. I'm pretty sure there isn't any too many players that can hurt me in that fixture, so I'm sat on 75 points, captained Isaac. Wilson, I think he's the only one who could threaten a green arrow if he again gets maybe a double-digit haul, something like that. No Isaac returns, and even the likes of clean sheets lost for statistical and both my Newcastle defenders. All of those things come off, then I possibly could end up on a small red arrow. It doesn't feel likely, but it's been a great week. Estupinian obviously takes all the credit and the plaudits. 75 points I'm on. It's great because I've got 6 rare green arrows on the trot. I think since I've wildcarded in game week 26, that's 10 out of 11. My rank 346,000. It's nowhere near where I'd like it to be or where it was last season. But you know what? I'm still building a bit of momentum, and let's just finish the season as strongly as we can. So with that in mind, let's have a look at how this side is shaping up for game week 37. So I have £1 million in the bank, and I've got 2 free transfers, which I would like to have going into game week 38. With all the fixtures happening at the same time and kicking off together, it's quite possible we'll get a bit of team news, and some players' differentials will certainly be available to us, with some sides having nothing to play for. So it could be a good week to have 2 transfers, and that's definitely my intention. In terms of the amount of double game week players I've got, it looks really healthy. I've got 9 out of the first 11 all having double game week features, and the ones that don't even have a double game week, in Trent and Isaac, I've still got very good fixtures. The likes of Trippier and Shaw at home to Leicester, I do think they could possibly get a clean sheet against Leicester there, who seem to be just desperate for points and a little bit down and out by the looks of things there. But Rashford is an issue, so I do need to possibly address that. He's a bit of a doubt for Bournemouth, and it feels unlikely that he's going to play both fixtures. So I need to potentially look at a replacement for him, and especially a team with a double game week. So with that in mind, let's have a look at some of those players that have made our watch list. The first player that is on my watch list as a replacement for Rashford has to really be another Manchester United player. I do want to get another double game week player in. I've got 3 Brighton, I've already got 3 Manchester City players, and with Rashford doubtful, I've got 2 Man United players. I don't feel that there's any Chelsea players with their difficult, the fixtures aren't very good for them, and it's just no one that stands out for them. I don't think I can trust a clean sheet. There's no one attacking enough like a James in defence to be able to rely on attacking returns, and I'm not convinced they're scoring enough goals anyway, especially 2 games away from home. So I just don't think there's any standout obvious candidate for Chelsea. But the standout really, I think, for Manchester United as a replacement for Rashford, for a like-to-like midfielder, again similar sort of price as well, is Anthony. He's played 23 games this season, 4 goals, 2 assists. XGI is okay, 0.41, really lowly owned, so that's really encouraging. So if he does get some returns in this game, 3.3%, it's going to make a huge difference to my rank. In terms of what he's done in recent weeks as well, it's quite encouraging. In the last 3 games, he's had 13 shots. I think from the eye we can see he's not afraid to have a shot. He loves cutting in on that right hand side, Robin-esque, and having a few shots. Key passes 9, and his XGI 0.73. So that's just the last 3 games. So he's definitely sort of revelling in that role. And with fixtures away at Bournemouth, at home to Chelsea, he looks pretty nailed. Decent fixtures, and the last one against Fulham looks like a nice fixture as well. So Anthony is the obvious candidate to take over Rashford, and that could just be a straightforward switch, and I think is probably the most likely thing that I'm going to be doing. The other choices are that I make a move. I brought in Mahrez a few weeks ago as a little bit of a punt when we got early team news, so it could be that if you're worried about Mahrez, I could possibly move to another Man City player for the double game week. They've got Chelsea and Brighton in a double game week, which again with the Champions League possibly coming up, the FA Cup, they need to beat Chelsea to win the league. There's a complete worry about rotation. Who is going to play 2 games? A lot of managers, the most successful transfer in is obviously Ilkay Gundogan, 7.4. He's a good price. He's played 30 games this season, 8 goals, 6 assists. XGI looks pretty decent. He is playing a lot of games for Man City at the moment, and he is taking the headlines with his contributions. 4.2%, he's quite lowly owned, but that is clearly going to go up with the amount of managers they're bringing in. He's almost transferred in twice as many as the next transfer, which was Luke Shaw. Last 3 games, 6 shots, 2 key passes. XGI is still not massively impressive, 0.45. For me, I don't think I'm guaranteed any more minutes with Gundogan than I am with Mahrez. Possibly. But his underlying stats just don't really look like they're very sustainable for me. He's got, 2 goals last game and then 2 before. He's only taken something like 6 shots or 5 shots in those last 2 games, including a penalty. 2 key passes. Doesn't appear to be making too many assists either. I just don't know. For me, we know his heroics at the end of last game of last season when he won the league, coming back against Villa. He's talismanic, and Pep's come out and talked about how important he is a part of the team, but underlying stats, I just don't think with the amount of shots and key passes he's getting, he's likely to continue to score those many goals. And with Mahrez, I don't know if I'm prepared to burn a transfer to bring him in. So for me, Gundogan, I think if you want to take Rashford out and you've only got 2 City players, he makes perfect sense. But for me, I'm just not convinced he'll play both games and he'll continue to do what he's doing at the moment. Does feel like a classic knee-jerk reaction. He scored 2, people are bringing in. So for Ilkay Gundogan, I think at the moment for me, he's just going to be a little bit of a pass, and I'd much rather go to Anthony. The final one that I would mention, he's not a double game week player, and that is Eze. He's got a single game fixture against Fulham and away at home to Forest. 5.6. He's super cheap. I've mentioned him not because I think I'm particularly looking forward to bringing him in or considering him seriously, but he has been brought in by quite a lot of FPL managers. He's a highly owned player coming into this fixture with the amount of players, people that are bringing him in. Goals 10, 4 assists, XGI 0.38. So he's 14. He's pretty much overachieving what his XGI is in terms of 28 appearances, and the fact that he's lowly owned, I don't mind. In fact, Zaha is now outside. He could possibly be on penalties. Again, a little bit like the Ilkay Gundogan. He has in the last 3 games, only 7 shots, 5 key passes. XGI has improved to 0.62. I tell you, those stats just don't feel like they're very sustainable. And when I've got a player potentially playing a double game week, I'm just not sure whether I trust Palace to go to Fulham. It's not a fixture I'll be particularly targeting at the moment. Fulham playing pretty well. Eze just doesn't look that appealing to me. There's better players I think out there, but if you're struggling for a budget or trying to move money elsewhere, for 5.6, if you've already loaded up on Brighton players, I guess he's not a bad option. That's it for this one then, guys. Thanks for watching if you've made it this far, and put the comments in the comments below. Who are you going to bring in for double game week 37, and who's your captain armband gonna go on, or is it very obvious? We'll come back at you with the team selection before the deadline. So in the meantime, make sure you hit that subscribe if you haven't done already, and I shall speak to you soon.